Good evening and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio, a very special Anime-Zing Radio tonight on a Friday night. We are here to review Anime Boston, which happened last weekend. Of course, we want to thank our sponsors, Home Circle Media, for the latest and greatest in anime gear. Everything from pens, pencils, stationery, and officially licensed art books. Be sure to check out homecirclemedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you tonight by Casey Fox. For all of your artwork, cosplay, and commission needs, be sure to check out Casey Fox. That's KAYCIFOXX on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We're also brought to you tonight by Triple S Lawn Care. If you're in the Raleigh-Durham area and you need lawn care, be sure to check out Triple S Lawn Care on Facebook. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me in the co-host seat, as always, is our good friend, Miss Angela Rose.
Hello, everybody.
Darren will be joining us in a little bit. He is currently working and with a customer. And our special guest, Devira Kai, will be joining us later on as well. We're going to be talking about Anime Boston, which we just had last weekend. A lot to cover, a lot of craziness. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly from Anime Boston. And as a special treat, somehow I did not even give a peek to this. I got one of those mystery bags. I'm not going to disclose how much this was just yet. I'll wait till we open it before I get yelled at. And we're going to do that in a little bit.
It's content. I can't yell at you for that. I could, but why?
But after all the hype, all the craziness, and all the stress of leading into Anime Boston, it's hard to believe that in the blink of an eye it ended so quick, after 3 years waiting. And I know, Angela, you weren't able to join us until later in the day, Friday. So I'll tell a little bit about my experience Thursday night into Friday morning, arriving into the Boston area late afternoon on Thursday, check into the hotel.
Yeah.
Ended up bringing our daughter to my sister's house. And then back to the Red Line in Quincy Adams, took the subway, because here's a little tip for anybody who wants to go to a convention in Boston. Park at the Quincy Adams T station. It was $24 for the weekend to leave my car there.
As opposed to $50 a day, which would be what most of the hotels charged.
The Marriott was $55 a night.
There are other T stops depending on where you're coming from. But case in point, if you are not from the city and on a budget, parking at a T stop and then taking the colored lines in is just going to be significantly cheaper.
And the subway system, the red, orange, green, blue lines are very, very reasonable to take. I think altogether, because my wife went in with me, I went to the car by myself on Sunday when I went back together. So basically 3 trips on the subway plus the parking was, I think, less than $30 for the weekend, as opposed to $55 for one night. So very reasonable. So if you're able to do that, that's advice number 1. Just find a T stop that is close and figure out, because the green line goes right to the Prudential Center. And you can take care of everything right then and there. It's very easy. From Quincy Adams, I think it was about an hour between waiting for trains and time on the train. But
Thursday I was able to pick up my badge super easily. It was in, out, no issues. But I didn't bother to stick around because I didn't really see anybody I knew.
Understandable. And I think when you were there, we weren't even back yet from dropping the kiddo off.
And then, I had to be up at 5, and so there was no reason to stay in town that late.
Oh, yeah, definitely understandable on that. And, it was, I did once we got back to the hotel, unpacked a few things, kind of vegged, got a little bit of food. I did some late night walking around, got some pictures of the convention hall, or not the Heinz per se. I didn't go inside, but I got pictures of the banner that everybody gets a picture of. Um, I'm trying to look through my posts to see if I can find all the pictures that I had posted. See if I can open that in a different window.
Yeah, I didn't bother taking pictures.
And so I will pull this off to a separate window and open this up. So we can share this here. So this was the banner that I was talking about. And then basically I tagged this on my Facebook page as the calm before the storm. This is where you would line up for registration to get your badges in the second floor of the Sheraton lobby. One of the hallways that was set up for panels and stuff. As you can see, a panel room. Some of the information that they wanted everybody to adhere to. I think I took these photos at like 10:30 at night, so there really wasn't anybody around. That's why I called it the calm before the storm.
Yep.
And then that led to day one, which unfortunately you were stuck working, so you weren't actually able to join us for our podcast panel. But the So You Want a Podcast was a panel that I put on at Anime Boston, my first ever panel at AB. The nerves were definitely there. I'm not gonna lie. And I think it went pretty well. We ended up having about 50 people. This was the room that we did the panel in. I don't think I brought you up to show you the room that I had stood up in front of, but it looks even more intimidating in these pictures. While waiting, of course I got up there an hour and a half before panel time, and our friend Rob was such a big help. You got about 30 minutes. You nervous yet? Yeah. Walking around, we found some Marin cosplayers. This was as things were getting set up. We did get video of the panel, so once everything gets edited and everything, we will be posting some videos and sound bites up on the YouTube channel here. To prove it was Anime Boston, I had to get the photo of the banner beside me. That's our friends Hatake and Sahara. I don't know if that's what they entered the Masquerade in or not, but they did finish second place in the Masters division. This was just a really, really cool cosplay.
Nice.
Of course, seeing Sailor Moons everywhere. Ran into some Kobayashi cosplays. I think this was after the panel, getting ready to head back to the room so I could dress up in costume. And it's not often you see a Fafnir, who is the one in black. And I'll be honest, I saw a lot of Kobayashis. I was not expecting that. This was the press conference that we had on Friday with Robbie Damond, Max Middleman, and Ray Chase. It was surprising to... things were kind of crazy. And I see we have Devira and Darren both ready to join us. Hello, guys.
Mm-hmm. Hello. How is everybody?
Hello.
I'm sorry, a little late. I got a little caught up with some things, so I'm not going to be able to stay for too long. But I don't know if I can just quickly shoot off on how things went on my end here.
Of course, we'll get back to the photos. Get back to those photos in a minute.
All right then. Sorry. So hope everyone's prepared for Anime Boston. I think I did. Let's see. Saturday, I ran Deal or No Deal. We had in room 302, 304 in the game show panel room. We had about 400 people in the audience. At one point, probably close to 400, maybe 470, 450 people. I think close. We were getting close to the max. I think we've actually hit max capacity at one point during the game, and then. Let's see. We had two contestants play. One contestant ended up winning, and ended up having $75,000 in this case. And the second game, contestant had $50,000 in their case. And then the next day, we ran Press Your Luck in the main hall, which we filled maybe about 2/3 to 3/4 of the entire main hall's first floor. The board was humongous. I've actually had my partner here with me. And how big would you say the board was? Like at least 10 feet, 10, 12, 10, 15 feet tall, would you say?
Closer to 15.
Yeah, it was huge.
Wow.
Yeah, let me see if I can throw a picture up here for you. Let me see here. But it was great. We had the full support of the staff on the main stage, and they actually were so impressed with how smooth the game ran that is like this. They said I should actually consider reaching out to Anime Boston's PR staff to see if I can obtain a copy of my show. But yeah, let me pull up a picture here. There we go. Let's see. How can I share a picture here?
You should have an icon that says share. Actually, let me see if I can stop sharing the screen I had, because I can always go back to that. See if you can. You should have an option underneath to share.
Yep, I think this is it right here.
And then I just pull this up here.
That's it right there.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of these are duplicates, and that was, up close and personal with the contestants as well. And just look how beautiful that big board looks.
I feel bad we missed that. I apologize. The press side of things had us running around all weekend.
Oh yeah. No, it's completely, again, you guys know how big that stage is, and being up there with the board, having the big board in action like that, it's insane. And what I love too, the wings of the stage, of that little backdrop they have, that gave it another whole depth of feeling. When you take pictures, it looks that much more aesthetically pleasing.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not used to seeing myself on a big screen like that. I like my little YouTube screens. I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, but that's how big. Look at the crowd right there. That's how many people were in the main hall. We filled it pretty good. But I'm not. I'm trying to figure out how much, numbers wise, how many people were sitting in the show. I should have asked a staffer that question, a fellow staffer. But yeah, that board though was amazing. It really was. But yeah, so anyway, the unfortunately I won't be able to stay for too long, because I have this weekend there is a Pride Parade happening here in Lowell, and I'm debuting a cosplay that I've been working on with someone for the past year or so. And so we're actually picking it up tonight, and we're gonna do like a little showcase of it, and then we're gonna debut it tomorrow at the festival.
Too bad you didn't already have it. Could do the debut here.
Yeah. No, but I'll promise I will send pictures and I can share it with you all. But again, I apologize, for not being able to stay for too long. But I wanted to make sure I said hi and let you all know how the show went.
Now, you had couple of interesting stories from the Press Your Luck game.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So, long story short, I had a contestant. We had one of the contestants. He was like a 10-year-old kid. He played against two other adults, and the one of the adults passed the final spin to him, and he ended up winning. It was and everyone was in shock that happened, and the winner, the adult there, was borderline booed by the audience for pulling that move. But it's strategy. It's complete strategy. But but there's nothing I could have done or said because the contestant, the rules of the game require that if someone passes a spin, there's no choice. They have to take it. So that's what happened. Unfortunately, again, that's how the game runs. So
That's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do?
yeah, but the kid didn't. The 10-year-old and the other adult contestant didn't leave empty-handed. So contestants who don't win the game, I do give them a consolation prize. But I think for the 10-year-old to console him a little more, we gave him a couple of extra prizes just because we're kind of felt bad. But
Rented for the 10-year-old, I feel like just being on the stage would be overwhelming enough, regardless.
Oh yeah. Babe, how the kid's reaction when he was on stage? What was it like? Was he like a deer in headlights? Would you say?
Yeah, that's appropriate when you're about 5 feet from it.
Yeah. It was intense.
But it's okay. He was dressed as Dorito-sama.
There you go. So yeah, and we also had a contestant who cosplayed the original host of Press Your Luck back in the '80s, Peter Tamarkin. And I was like, okay, is this guy trying to upstage me? Because I had my 3-piece suit on, my 3-piece beige suit on with the vest and the black tie and everything. I looked very classy that day, super classy. But yeah, it was great. So hopefully for next year, if we can do this again over there, you guys will be able to join us this time. So we'll see.
I will
Hopefully.
Hopefully the press interview side of things, maybe we won't try for 6 press interviews. I was surprised, that we got approved for 6 press interviews, and then originally the Sunday interview got moved to Friday, which left Sunday wide open.
And then we had a Saturday one get pushed to Sunday morning.
Oh,
because she wasn't feeling well.
Hang on. Scheduling conflicts at their finest.
That's what happens at these cons, the scheduling conflicts.
Yes.
Especially in the video room.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I didn't even make it to AB until slightly before 4 o'clock on Friday.
You barely got there in time for the concert.
I had to work.
Yeah.
Hey, you beat me there.
Adult, never any fun. All right, guys. I'm gonna have to get going here, but I wanted to make sure I popped in here and say hi and just give you a quick TLDR version of what transpired on my end for Anime Boston. So hope you guys are all well. Hopefully we get to come back and talk some more about the show. So I will see you guys all later. Thank you. Bye.
Have fun tomorrow. So that was Tavira and Big Bucks Entertainment on stage with game shows at Anime Boston. Hello to Mario in the chat room. I hope you had a wonderful weekend last weekend and a wonderful week. It's weird to not have a Sunday show and to be doing a Friday show. But there was no way I was going to be doing a show on Sunday when at 9 o'clock we were still driving home.
And by 9 o'clock, I was dead asleep.
Oh, so y'all
took Darren's place.
So y'all were so I was ready and raring to go on Sunday, and you two were completely out of it. That's great.
Hey, to be fair, I think I slept 10 hours the entire weekend.
And thanks to a fire alarm I had and my normal broken sleep schedule anyway, I didn't sleep very good all weekend either. The Fire Nation attacked Anime Boston once again.
About to say, the same thing happened at Anime-Zing this year.
I think you were telling me that a fire alarm had gone off.
Yep. Friday was a tornado warning, so everybody was in lockdown. Of course, it didn't do anything, but then fire alarm the next morning. Or was it fire alarm and then they had some other stuff going on Saturday that I'm not going to bring up?
And
But yeah,
did
they
you-
had an eventful weekend too.
that sounds like it. I will say that the my first ever podcast talking about podcasting panel at Anime Boston went really smoothly, considering the fact that I improv'd, aka talked out of my ass the entire time.
Isn't that what we do on a regular basis?
Pretty much.
Isn't that what we're doing right now?
Pretty much. Everything's improv. I can't plan a damn thing because then it falls apart. And then
Well,
we have
you
to improv anyway.
About to say, for every time if I had a nickel for every time Doug planned something, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but the fact it happened twice.
See, I'm the one that plans shit.
But the panel went pretty good. The panel room, I think, probably like Devera said, I think it's quite a similar size room to what he had for the game show. So I'm guessing probably 300-400 people could fit in that room. Because we had the first panel of the weekend, not just of the day, but of the weekend in that room, 9 a.m. Friday morning, there wasn't a ton of people around. I think we had 40 or 50 people in attendance, which is still a decent crowd for a not well-known type of panel for Anime Boston. And I had a lot of interactive questions, which was wonderful.
Room to improve on for next year.
I would love it. I stood there and once I calmed the nerves after seeing that room. Good evening, Ross. I hope you're having a wonderful night and a wonderful week. And I know a lot of people were saying that they want to see the video of me sitting up on. This is like PoochieCon. I did this panel. I had 5 people in the room, and 2 of them were Leanne and Evie. And so I didn't have like a lot of people, and I didn't have a lot of questions, so I really had to BS my way through an hour of talking. Here, I at least had a lot of interactive questions from many different people, which was fantastic. The size of the room was a little bit
disconcerting.
Overwhelming. I walked in, I went, holy crap, I gotta speak up in front of this. And then I thought to myself, I'm at a table that probably a lot of voice actors that I admire have sat at and done panels. And then I remembered the panel after me was cosplaying friends. And I'm like, you know what? I got this. And then there's our friend Rob, who, was up there with us. And he's like, oh, you got 30 minutes till the panel starts. You nervous? Ass. Of course I'm nervous. But once we actually started the panel and things I went into Showtime mode, and things just kind of went natural from there. Much like the show does, as unnatural as we can make it here. After that, we did have, as I had started to show, I will bring the screen back up, our press interview with Robbie Damond, Ray Chase, and Max Middleman. Originally, we just had a interview with Ray Chase. That got moved from Sunday to Friday with the other 2 gentlemen. They have all formed a comedy group called Lava, where they do a lot of stand-up improv. So it was really cool to be able to talk with these guys. And that's me in my Kobayashi cosplay. So everybody can yuck it up with me in cosplay. This was our friend Samantha Hinton. And I forget the name of that character. It's all Soul Eater. I know that much. We had Blair, who joined us. I was talking with Sam and her dad, and then Blair joined us. And then shortly after that, Amaka was walking by, so she had to come and get in the picture. And then found another Toru. That one was actually a really good Toru. And I think that was about it for the photos that I got on Friday, because of all the stuff going on. Saturday, I got more photos and things of that nature. But shortly after that, hit a couple of panels, got a couple of autographs and things of that nature. Thursday, just before the con, it was announced that Silverstein had canceled due to the fact that he tested positive for COVID. So unfortunately, they lost a guest there. And then Friday morning, they announced a replacement. Fun little story. Driving up to Anime Boston, we listened to anime music for about 6 hours. One of the people that we listened to was Kaylee Mills, and her version of a couple of different anime songs that she translated sang. She got announced as the replacement. A lot of people probably know Kaylee best as Amelia the Hero in ReZero. So of course I had to get an autograph from Kaylee. I hadn't seen her in many years. She was a guest on the show many years ago. Before actually she was a voice actor. So that was a lot of fun. I think we got her autograph on Sunday. And it sounds like Darren is just about home, and we're getting feedback. So I'm going to mute you for a moment, Darren.
I'm going to check the radar.
All right. And so shortly after doing some walking around, getting some photos, and talking with some friends, that's about the time that you arrived Friday night.
I found you on Friday when you were waiting in an autograph line, and there was a whole debacle with our hotel room. So my stuff was in the lobby with my husband, my 2 big bags, and then found you, got my concert ticket from you, and then it became one big overwhelming holy shit, it's finally here.
Yeah. And a big thank you to the people who are working the ticket booth, because to attend the concert, you needed a ticket, which this is that ticket. In fact, I'm trying to figure out the best way to hold that.
And
for Oscar and IQ.
And they did, I believe the room hit capacity.
They sold out. They basically gave away all the tickets. I was actually able, they weren't supposed to, but they did give me an extra one because we were press for Angela, because she was going to be arriving late and they wouldn't have had any tickets at the time. And hello to Wild Goldine. I'm sorry that you weren't able to find us. I know things were absolutely crazy. I'm glad that you had a great time at Anime Boston. And thank you for the reviews.
But yeah, so the first real thing I got to do was as part of the convention was the concert, which was overall an amazing experience. Do you want me to kind of go through that?
Go right ahead. Give your point of view of it, and I will give my point of view after.
I had been listening to a lot of anime and Japanese music for like a week leading into the con to kind of set the mood. Not sure what I was expecting with IQ. Never heard of him and kind of forgot to look him up on Spotify because I usually am better about that. But it was... I actually wrote shit down. While extremely entertaining, extremely talented, it was way too hip hop and rap for my liking, not my normal scene. But he put on a fucking fantastic show. If you like rap, hip hop, and lo-fi, go check out IQ. You will appreciate it. I will admit I was entertained by the fact that he was trying to get the crowd going by asking who watched Naruto and then led into a song that was inspired by the show. That was pretty freaking cool.
I one thing I enjoyed about IQ was he had his mates up on stage to start the concert, and they started playing, and they're like, "We're not sure where he is. He said he'll join us in a minute." He said, "Just start the show. He'll join us in just a moment." And they started playing the music, and he stood up from the row behind us. He was sitting behind us in the audience, which I thought was like, not knowing hip hop, much like Angela. I'm not a hip hop or a rap listener. I had no clue who he was. Didn't know. I didn't look him up at all. I think I'd heard 2 of Asuka's songs prior to this, and the fact he was in the audience behind us and started performing, and all I could hear was the people behind us going, "Holy shit, he was in our row!" Like, they were freaking out that he was sitting like beside them, and they had no idea. Was really impressive as well. And like you said, Angela, his music is not what I would normally listen to. As a performer, entertainer, and a stage presence, I would see him again. Just because I enjoyed how he commanded the stage. Even though the music is not my taste, I enjoyed his performance as a performer that much that I would see him again if he was paired with somebody else.
And for live music, it's all about the atmosphere and the crowd and the energy and those things. It was fantastic. Asuka, and then, like any good concert, the mandatory like break where they break down one set, bring up the next. Asuka, far more along the lines of what I was expecting, far more to my personal taste in music. Definitely a little, for her performance, there was definitely a lot less energy in the performance and more into the music itself. Although the people in the front with the sticks, that was fucking cool.
I've been to many much like you, Angela. You and I both have been to a lot of concerts in our lifetime. I have never been to, and I knew in Japan, those light sticks are a very common, very popular thing. And because of our friend Rob, who is a huge Idol fan, and has been to Japan, he's got 2 of them. He said they run about $120 a piece for the authentic change to like 50 different colored lights. The fact that not only was there a group of like 150 people in the front, like in front of the stage, that all had at least one, if not one in each hand, color coordinating and flinging them around and stuff during the performance, I was as mesmerized with them as I was with Asuka's performance.
Among the highlights as far as songs go, the opening theme to Darwin's Game was one. And of course, my personal favorite, she did the opening to Sword Art Online, Alicization, which was the very last track performed. And one other thing to note, that her speaking in mostly Japanese in between the songs was a little bit difficult because we couldn't necessarily understand. But overall, concert was 100% an amazing experience and would do it again.
Oh, definitely, hands down. And I actually spent most of this week during my day job listening to the Asuka music on YouTube. Like I went album by album.
I did that on Spotify leading into the convention.
So every day this week, I had Asuka music playing from my phone in my bays while working on cars.
Now, was that everybody could hear it or just you?
Oh no, everybody could hear it. I don't have earbuds, so I was blaring Japanese music.
Unrelated to anything.
Been there, done that. I do it on the. I used to do it on the mic at work when I was closing. I'd be like, "Yep." We'd always pick who would put it on the mic, because on for us, when everybody places an order, there's a microphone at the front counter, so you got to call the orders into the microphone. Well, that microphone basically goes throughout the whole store. So we used to take turns at closing, picking who would DJ for the night, and basically put the microphone down to the counter, put your phone up to the mic, and you had to suffer through whoever decided to be the DJ that night.
No, we got to a point where basically at my job, especially during the pandemic, my boss was like, music has to be playing. I don't care. There's so few people here. We want people to feel like welcomed. So it basically, every one of the kids got a turn for a day, basically controlling my Spotify. And the variety was all over the place.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, between 90s rap, American metal, the Jonas Brothers, and 2000s candy pop, and then my own chaos mix, and then also throw in some EDM for good measure.
Yeah, you were all over the place.
That's my crew.
Yeah, I was about to say, you didn't touch any of what I normally listen to.
Now, Saturday came around, and it was another busy day. I think we ended up having 4 press conferences.
1, 2, 3. Only 3. It was supposed to be 4.
Oh, that's right. And the day started off
but they were back to back to back.
Pretty close to back to back. There was a little bit of time between the first one. Number 2 and 3 were back to back. We started off the day with Griffin Burns, where I had the moment of, with everybody having to wear face masks, I had that, oops, I just made an ass of myself moment, where we're standing outside the press room, waiting to go in to do the press conference. I guess they were waiting for the guests to show up. So everybody standing out there, I assumed, was press or staff, and there was a couple of staff members that were waiting to go in as well. And I turned to the person to my left, and I was like, oh, which press media are you with? He goes, oh, I'm Griffin Burns. I went, oh, shit. But with a mask on, I had no idea who it was. And to be fair, I really didn't know many of his roles. That was more one that, somebody else I knew really wanted me to talk with him because he was in Devilman Crybaby. But it was an entertaining panel. He really was really nice to talk. And that one, I think, was a shorter panel. I think that only went about a half hour.
Agreed, because I don't even have a full page of notes.
But we asked quite a few questions. He was the only press conference we were allowed to actual video. 3 of the other 4, we got audio. Greg Ayers requested no audio or video, which, understandably so. There was also special guidelines with Greg of no questions about his brother or family things. Also, we got a press interview with Susie Young, which we've got to do some editing, some of the information, and that we were asked to edit out and not disclose.
Yep.
So there was a lot of stuff that we've got to work on, which is why we haven't really posted any videos or stuff from Anime Boston, because we have a lot of editing we've got to do. But we will get stuff. And Ross Luck in the chat says, did you guys hear Megan Shipman is pregnant? I did see that. A big congratulations to Megan. Very excited for her and her husband.
Yay.
Maple's having a baby. It's going to be a little shield. They're going to name it Syrup. No.
You are something else.
We did end up getting a couple more autographs on Saturday. including my wife got the autograph that she had been hoping for from Ray Chase. Also, two of the press conferences that got canceled were Matt Shipman and Brittany Lotta. I was very sad about that. I was looking forward to talking with them. On the plus side, we did get autographs. This right here is the autograph pass for Brittany. We also had Matt Shipman on the same day. Of course, me and my new game book. They were basically Ant Black and Hornet Yellow, which you can see here and here. Matt Shipman was so beside himself that I had this art book that had his character. Apparently, I'm the first and only Ant Black he has ever signed. He is a huge Power Rangers fan, so getting to voice Ant Black in a Power Rangers type show was a highlight. Brittany was very surprised that we got asked for her autograph on here as well. One thing I've noticed, and I know, Angie, you're not a huge autograph person. But one thing I've noticed with the voice actors, when you can bring up obscure characters or like characters that they think nobody remembers or knows about to have them sign it, you can make their con. They light up. Almost brighter than some of the fans do when they get to meet their favorite voice actors. Which, that was kind of a really cool thing to be like, yeah, I got an officially licensed art book now autographed by people from the actual show.
Yep.
There'll be more of that coming up at Kineticon.
Well, it was really fun. I'll admit, I do not watch a lot of dubbed anime, but meeting the voice actors and realizing that, oh shit, these are animes that I watch and I like, and
I know the characters they're voicing, maybe not just necessarily their version of the said character.
Exactly.
Now, it makes me curious. Does it, after meeting some of these voice actors and having the press conference with them, does it make you want to go back and watch some of the work in English just to hear how they reprised that role?
Yes. One of which I'm not going to do for a while because it is a very serious, very, very dark, serious, heavy anime that just finished like about a month ago. So I don't want to go back and rewatch it in English, but I do.
86?
Yes.
You like how I guessed which one it was right off the bat?
Moriarty, I probably will go back and rewatch because that's a little bit later.
We did end up, after the press interview with Susie, I did go down. This is Casey Fox artwork signed by Susie Young. I do thank Susie for offering to give us the autograph for free, and she seemed surprised when I declined the offer because, as I've said before, I understand that's how they make their money. They only get paid for the shows when they're in the show. When they're outside of the booth, they don't get the royalty, so they make their money by autograph signings and stuff at conventions. So
I'm just going to jump in and say she was such a freaking sweetheart.
And I didn't realize that she was from where she's from, which was really, really cool to find out. That's
not something we can talk about, but it was a surprise to me as well.
In fact, you guys had an interesting conversation about where she's from.
Yep.
And of course, we
specifically got asked to not leave that out of any recording.
So we're not going to disclose anything.
Yep.
And then, of course, we had to have the press conference on Saturday with somebody Darren likes, the voice actor of Zenobia, Lauren Landa. This one I had this print I had to pay for. I know I said I was going to get a Mio. Unfortunately, she did not have any Mio prints on her table, so I had to go for the next best one, which was Zenobia. And I know that you are having a bad day, Darren, so I apologize on the bad timing of sending you a haha, Darren.
Now, my question is, did you make mention of what I had her sign to see if it struck her memory at all?
I did not, because I could not remember.
Okay. Give me 10 seconds. I will find find my figure and I will show you what she did.
And this was the free, because I'd gotten the ticket meant free, but you could buy. So this was what I got signed for free. You had to have something for her to sign, which I was not aware of. So I had her sign the back of the press badge, which I will tell you right now, it's kind of an honor to be holding an Anime Boston badge that says press.
Is that the one Friday when you were waiting in line when I joined you in the line?
This was Saturday. We got this.
Okay.
Like I said, 2015 we had gotten press for Anime Boston, and we were supposed to have it again in 2020. A pandemic happened. Darren couldn't come out because of cancellations and stuff like that. But Darren is showing off the figure he got signed by Lauren of Zenobia.
Yep, sorry, it's a bad thing, but she was like, where can I get one of these?
So we'll make him the big screen. And it was neat to actually have like a press interview with her. We touched on a lot of stuff. There was a few other media outlets there, and a lot of the questions that were getting asked of the voice actors was asking about going union with the workers and stuff of that nature. And also the Crunchyroll Funimation merger was brought up in quite a few of the press conferences, both of which most of the voice actors had no comments. Either it didn't, like the Crunchyroll Funimation merger does not affect the voice actors in any way, shape, or form. They go into the booth, they record, whoever it's for is who it's for.
They go in the booth and they do their recording, they get their money. They don't typically look beyond that per se.
And as we did a special, shortly after it happened about what we felt, about the merger and what it meant for anime, you can go back on our YouTube channel and see that. But I
believe that might also be the night that Mario joined us, and then we went on a tangent about Attack on Titan for like 20 minutes.
You'd be correct, because that's also when we started talking about some other stuff.
Yep.
And then the Masquerade, unfortunately, I wasn't feeling good because I was pushing myself on little food. So I ended up having to go back to the hotel room, get some food, try to recover a little bit. And instead of going to the Masquerade and sitting there for 3 hours, especially with a nearly full memory card, and we didn't have another one for her camera, decided to walk around with my phone and get a ton of pictures of cosplayers. And you can find those on our Facebook page. I believe I posted them on the Anime-Zing Radio Facebook page. Be a little too much to sit here and scroll through like 50, 60 pictures.
And while he was doing that, I did what I normally do at anime conventions: find the gaming section, and I ran a D&D. I ran a 2-hour D&D one shot module at Anime Boston for people who had mostly never played D&D before. Because as it is, the overlap in the fandoms between anime and D&D is increasingly growing.
Which excites you.
It does, because it's two of my biggest interests, and yay, sharing these things I like with more people. And
we never actually got to do like the setting up a character and things of that nature like we had talked about.
We didn't. And Mario posted into the comments, that reminds me, we do need to finish talking about that, and he's right. Mario, I will share with you one of the other press outlets that we were talking with. One of their things that's going to be streamed is actually a one-shot D&D game that is based on Attack on Titan. To bring that full circle. So for any other Attack on Titan fans, when that actually happens, check it out.
As soon as we have more information on channels, times, dates, Angela will be sure to post it for everybody. And
Because I do that.
because I work too much now, Darren's dead, and
summertime is my dead time at work, so there's no reason if I get information that I can't post it.
Wow, that's the complete opposite for me.
now we are. I was hoping to do like an hour show tonight talking about Anime Boston, and as I mentioned at the top of the show, I went and got a grab bag. I have not looked into this grab bag. I don't know what it is. And all I know is that the bag said Date Alive. There was, I think, like 40 bags on the table. Everyone had a different theme. The mystery bags ranged in price between $30 and $70. I did not buy a $70 bag. I will say that right now. I did not get the most expensive.
Good.
Shame on you.
I didn't have the money to get the most expensive bag. I did go after the Date Alive bag because it was the only bag that was up there that I knew would probably have something I like in it.
If it has everything Kurumi in there, you're going to be mad, though.
So this is the bag, and believe it or not, I bought it last Sunday. I have not even looked into this bag yet. That's 100% honest. I wrapped it up like this, folded it over. It was in the suitcase coming home. It's been sitting on the computer desk. I have barely even been home to look into it. So we are going to do a live unveiling right now. And we're going to get a reaction from everybody as to what I got. And then we'll find out if it was actually worth it.
How much did you pay for the bag?
I will say that after.
No, we start with that.
No.
I want to keep the suspense.
Okay.
So the first item that we get, and is this even Date Alive? This is a little, looks like a little pin. Miko? Is that even Date Alive?
Put it up to the camera a little bit more. Mako?
Unless it's somebody new. I don't know.
I'd have to go back in. I want to say no, though.
There's not a whole lot in this bag. And this is the big item. Oh my god. Of course.
Is it my night? Of course. Hey, Kurumi.
I am very curious. I want to see something here.
I told you it was going to have Nightmare in it.
Yeah, I figured it probably would. But because of that little sticker right there, I can tell you it is an authentic figure. It's not a knockoff.
Yay.
Thank you, YouTubers and AniTubers for doing a special telling how to know if an anime figure is authentic or not. So I'm going to to unbox it now. I know Darren is excited because I ended up with a Nightmare figure.
Because how could we not love this girl? Besides, it's her time to shine in the anime, even though I'm not caught up.
I will say that this figure does look pretty intense. Like, the quality is there.
About to say, does it say which manufacturer did this one on the box?
It says Corful.
Okay. Well, I should have figured that. Haven't heard of that one.
And this says Date Alive 4 on there.
Oh, wow. So that's a fairly new figure.
And, oh my god. I am not upset with this. This is absolutely adorable. She's got, like, devil wings and a tail. Now, I'm not caught up on the anime, but does she actually wear this outfit?
To my knowledge, no.
Because this
But given how her personality, I wouldn't put it past her.
Which, I'm not sure how well this is going to stand up in the thing here. But, oh, there we go.
Well, I'm thrilled. Congratulations.
I'm actually like not upset about the figure. I mean, disappointed because it's Kurumi and I would have been happy with just about any other girl, but I should have known it was going to be Kurumi just because of a Data Live box.
Now, that figure probably is worth $50 to $60, if not more alone.
I'd give it about a $50 minimum and probably upwards of 70 something.
That being said, the box I bought, this pin had a tag on it that said $10. So we could say that the bag value, to be safe, was about $70 or so.
Is that all?
That's all that was. That was all that was
in the figure.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed by the fact there wasn't more in there, but the figure itself is probably worth what the bag was.
I would agree to that. And not just because I'm a Kurumi fan.
All right. And then how much was the bag?
$50.
I was going to say 50.
I suspected as much.
Looking around at figures similar to that, I am seeing prices ranging between $35 and $70.
Hold on a sec. I can give you an accurate price. Give me a minute. I just got to pull up a certain site here. Okay, wow. There's 405. Oh, wow. There's 405 items for her. No, I take it back. 1,500 items for her.
This is Corful version Devil Girl.
Hold on. Let me see what I can find.
And title site on here says taito.co.jp.
Hold on. Data Live 4, Data Live 4, Data Live 4. Casual Idol, Corful. Data Live 4, Corful. Hold on. Okay, that's okay, that's not the right one,
but the figure is cute. I will not burn this one. I will keep this one.
About to say, if you didn't want it, I would gladly take it off your hands.
Oh, I'm sure you would.
Okay, so it looks like Corful has done quite a few Kurumi figures.
So while Darren is still looking, High Dive was at Anime Boston, and they were offering a thing to subscribers where that you could get one of two different pins. One of the pins was of the Hestia Familia from Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? I forget what show the other pin was. But the Hestia one was the one that we went for, and I wanted to show that off. I don't know, I showed you earlier, Ange. This is a heavy-duty coin. And it's got the Hestia Familia logo on the back, which that was kind of the selling point, because let's be honest, Hestia is annoying.
Agreed.
Her Familia is good, but Hestia herself, she might be up there with Aqua and the one from Cautious Hero for most useless goddesses.
Oh, so found the details on it. It was a prize figure.
I had a feeling.
Well, that still ain't bad though.
Wait, a what figure?
A prize
figure. In other words, it would be like the kind you'd get out of a claw machine in Japan.
So think Connor videos with the claw games.
Oh, I've watched all of those. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
So that's basically what this is. This is basically Kurumi's version of the Devil Rem.
It's roughly a $40-$45 figure.
So I pretty much broke even, I think, on the bag, but that's why it's a mystery bag. You take the chance. And you know what?
I agree.
I got a new figure out of it.
I ended up watching at PAX East. One of my friends and I were sitting at a giant table eating lunch, and somebody asked us if he could sit at the other end of the table, and we said sure. And he said, "Do you care if I open my mystery? It was a Spider-Man mystery box that he'd gotten at one of the booths." And we said sure, why not? Because I actually enjoy watching unboxing stuff sometimes. And watching his reaction to watching this stuff was actually quite comedic.
And I am taking a picture of this to send to my wife so she can see what came out of the mystery bag. Because she was not here for the unveiling. She's going to be disappointed that it's Kurumi. But I think the figure's adorable. I will accept the figure.
Well, not to say, I don't know if you saw in the chat, but I sent you the link. This is a very helpful site for determining figure values, just so you know.
Okay.
My friend Alan in Australia is a figure nutcase. And he pointed me to this site. He said, if you want some of the more accurate values of figures and also to check if they're authentic or not, then check here. And they got other merch that they can verify as well.
Oh, that's cool. But overall, for Anime Boston, I know like Puchicon, I gave I ranked between a scale of 1 to 10. I gave Puchicon an 8. A lot of that was based off of my personal experiences, staff, the location of the convention, things of that nature. I'm curious, and Anime Boston is where it's always been. Or not always, but has been for years. On a scale of 1 to 10, how was your experience and how would you rate Anime Boston's comeback after a 3-year hiatus?
I'm going to give it a solid 6.5.
I was tossed up between a 6 and a 7. Just because obviously there was a lot of hiccups first con back. Very understandable.
There's that. There is also just one thing when they took away the Prudential Mall food court. There's not a lot of good, inexpensive food options.
Mm-hmm.
And that is actually huge.
I'm not going to lie. One kind of benefit to Anime-Zing is since we're in the heart of downtown Raleigh, there are literally food joints everywhere. Even chain restaurants. I know the McDonald's across the street is actually a very popular hangout. What killed me is the last time I was in there for a convention, they were so busy and they were calling out food and no one was coming to claim it. So the con goers, for the most part, paid for their food, then never came to claim it.
And I mean, we have the opposite problem where there's a ton of slightly upper scale sit down restaurants, but not everybody wants to do that.
Your only other option was the Star Mart across the street with their foods.
Star Market's prepared food section was okay, and then you've got anywhere else is you have to know where you're going, and if you're not from the city, it's difficult. Like there's a Wendy's, but it's a couple streets away. There's I don't remember if it's a Chipotle or a Boloco. One of those Tex-Mex places. There's that. And then there's like coffee houses and a burger joint. But again, everything is a walk. And
Wow.
depending on what you're wearing for cosplay, walk ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you. For the most part, I don't know about y'all, but do y'all have convention vendors in the convention center or wherever y'all have? Are there like a lot of food stalls in your convention?
Anime Boston, 0.
The only place that you could have gotten any food or drink type item was Wild Bill's.
And that is strictly soda.
And that is strictly soda, and that was in the game, not the RPG game room, but the tabletop game room, and also the autographs area.
The board game room.
The board game room.
Well, about to say for Anime-Zing, since we're at the convention center, they have Domino's or something like little pizzas. They got a little vendor in there. They got
the upside is Uber Eats and Grubhub and those places will deliver food to any of the hotel lobbies. However, you're paying a premium for that.
Yep.
Of course. I work in the industry. I see those upcharges and they're outrageous.
Yep. I mean, beyond that, that's one of the biggest things. The other big thing is, like, comparatively, PAX had the food trucks.
Oh yeah, we have
both inside the expo hall as well as outside.
The past couple of years, we have had a food truck park out in front of the convention center.
At the Heinz, where Anime Boston is, there's not really enough space.
Yeah,
because it's a different part of Boston.
Yeah, there really isn't anywhere food trucks could park and set up, especially considering the fact one of the entrances to the Heinz is where the duck boat tours line up.
But aside from that, it really was the big thing was guidebook was not always packing up. The other big downside was shitty cell service and no Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Making it so that everything was on the guidebook app, which meant if you didn't get signal, which not a lot of people didn't do for a very long time or for extended periods of time, then you didn't necessarily know when all of the scheduling changes happened.
And there was a lot of scheduling changes throughout the whole weekend.
Yep.
It's funny now that you mentioned that. For us, the convention center, the basement floors is where the dealer's room was. I remember that Gavin was telling me that every now and then he'd have to run forward to the front of the convention center toward the windows just to get a signal so the credit cards would go through.
Yeah.
But they fixed that. They got Wi-Fi pretty much around that entire convention center now.
Now, for me, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would also rate Anime Boston on as a 6.5 as well. And the reason being, I was happy to be back. Let's be honest here. I've been going to Anime Boston for years. Always enjoy going to that convention. One of the downsides to me as an English dub fan, the guest list was a little bit lacking, especially compared to years past. Understandably, the pandemic limited and negated a lot of the international guests that Anime Boston is known for getting. So they were kind of handicapped by, international laws regarding to COVID protocols and things of that nature, which is understandable. I don't hold them accountable for that. The most exciting guests that were there that I really wanted to see was Susie Young, and then Friday when they announced Kaylee Mills. And no offense to any of the other voice actors that were there. It was a case of I've met Lauren many times. I've seen Robbie Damond at many conventions. Ray Chase and Griffin Burns, who we were in press conferences with, I really didn't know their work because they did shows that I didn't really watch. Max Middleman, I knew some of his stuff, but didn't know enough to be really excited, or, I was kind of indifferent because, it wasn't, oh my God, it's the voice of, if we Kidscon guest list is unbelievable coming up, which I am really excited about a ton of the guests that they have there. That's our next big con that we're focusing on in the middle of July. Of course, we have coming up at the end of June. We're going to be at Rail City Fan Fest over in St. Albans, Vermont. Very small con. Should be interesting. First year convention. Not sure what to expect, but we will see what happens there. But also, like Angela said, the lack of affordable food choices was a hindrance. The fact that the dealers and Artist Alley were swapped, I think kind of was a negative as well. To people who had been attending that venue for years, you were used to first floor was the dealer's hall, absolutely enormous, 2 huge rooms of just tables packed with merchandise and everything you could think of. Second floor was still a really, really large Artist Alley. This year, they swapped them. The dealer's hall, I feel, was not as big as it had been years past, it felt like it was a little bit more spread out. The Artist Alley was basically half the size of what the dealer's hall used to be. I feel like they had less room for the Artist Alley, but the way they had it laid out, I was impressed by the amount of room behind the tables. I don't know if I mentioned that to you, Ange, when we went walking through.
We did touch on that. The way it was before, they did have the squares set up in the old space with Artist Alley.
But it was a lot more compact. You didn't have as much room. I probably could have fit my living room in between one of the squares. They had a ton of room. I felt that they possibly could have gotten room for more artists in there and made the spaces behind the table a little narrower because there was a lot of empty space behind them. But at the same point in time, as a parent, I would have loved to have had an area like that for my daughter to run around and just have fun.
I was about to say, did they have a kids area for designated kids area?
No, they typically don't do that stuff up here. It's designed to be an all ages convention with some later things labeled as 18 plus.
Well, the reason I ask is because we always have 2 rooms on the top floor of the convention center. Well, I take it back, not top floor, mid floor. You got one that's always the karaoke room, and then you have the room beside it. It's about the same size. It's probably about a 20 by 30 room. Not, in other words, well, maybe less than that, maybe about a 12 or by 20, 30 room. Not that big. It overlooks the convention hall where the dealer's room and Artist Alley is, and it's a spot specifically for the kids. It's just kind of like a little break room for them.
I do know that up here we have a friend that actually puts on a convention that is for kids called Kidscon, and it is it's a Comic-Con geared towards educating and entertaining children.
Yes, I believe you've mentioned that multiple times in the past.
And we've actually vended it in the past. Emily Druin does a fantastic job hosting this convention. She's done it for quite a few years now. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to go in a few years. But another negative to the weekend, also, like I mentioned, somebody pulled the fire alarm at like 2:00 in the morning in our hotel, which that really is not anything with the con, but looking at it as an entire experience. When you go into a busy day, half asleep because your sleep schedule was broken up by some unnecessary crap, it made it tough to fully enjoy the next day's festivities. Also, I am a firm believer now that con shape is a thing. And I don't remember who I was talking with this about, but it's one thing to go to smaller conventions like Northeast Comic-Con. It's not very spread out. You can cover everything in a couple of hours, have seen everything, talked to everybody, and had a good time. Anime Boston is so large and stuff is spread out. The Heinz Convention Center itself is 3 floors, very, very large venue. And then you had more things going on in the Sheridan and a lot of back and forth. I can't tell you the last time that I walked over 20 miles in 3 days, but I was definitely out of shape for this convention. Very winded, it made me feel like I didn't know what I was doing, kind of, in a way, which that might be kind of a drawback for the larger cons, where it might be one of the things that I enjoy more about the small to mid-sized cons. Still a good time, but man, I realized just how out of con shape I was for a convention that scale. I don't know if you felt that way as well, Angela, or not.
Anime Boston being significantly smaller than PAX, I kind of got that at PAX as opposed to Anime Boston.
So so PAX East, you were like, okay, I'm winded, I'm out of con shape, and then Anime Boston, you're like, I got this. PAX was worse than this. Pretty
much.
Sure, make me out to be the fatty.
Well, there's also the fact that I'm also just more active by nature.
True. I work too much. I either work or don't leave the house.
Bingo.
I'm lazy.
And that is your problem.
But I'm also lazy because I work too much and don't have the energy. Like, I tried going disc golfing after a normal 60-hour work week. I paid for it the next couple of days of having no energy. I was like, oh my God, I need to do more.
Yes.
And Mario says Reed Chase is madly talented and down to earth. He was a lot of fun to talk to. The press conference with Ray and everybody was a lot of fun. I had never had a chance to really sit down and talk with like Robbie Damon and stuff. We were supposed to be having a press interview with him at Katsucon years ago, but he ended up having to cancel that year. So obviously didn't have a chance to talk with him there.
I just realized there's the story from Griffin Burns from the very, very end.
Oh God. Go ahead and tell it.
Oh God. So
that's where the notes come in.
Yes. I also went back and looked up his stuff because I knew he'd done stuff I watched. And one of the biggest titles that Griffin Burns was a voice in that I watched was Platinum End. And I don't know if I've talked about that much on the show, but
aside from mentioning you watched it, I don't think so.
But Leanne and I had talked about it a little bit before the press interview, and then it had come up during the someone had asked him about that specifically. It might have even been me, for all I remember. During the press interview, and then afterwards, Leanne and I had started talking for a little bit about that, and Griffin Burns himself called me out for my commentary about his character. And that was one of those moments. Well, shit, I'm getting yelled at for running my mouth again.
So we both had interesting moments with Griffin.
Yep.
We got to get him on the show. I got to do some research.
But that was just one of those funny moments.
And another funny moment, I know that you got some notes during the Greg Ayers interview. Greg Ayers, wonderful, wonderful gentleman. Always enjoy his panels. Have attended his panels for years, and he was talking about different things, and somehow he brought up a classic anime, Ghost Stories. Which I had to ask the question of what is his opinion if that were to be released today in this day and age? Would it have had the cult following that it had back then?
You can't make that today.
Which that was exactly what he said. He's like, that would never fly today. He goes, aside from, I think most of the humor in that was edgy, but really didn't hit below the belt except for a couple.
And here's the thing. Comedy is fluid. And comedy evolves as
the world evolves.
The world evolves, and so as does pop culture. It kind of gets into, you can't make a Mel Brooks movie today.
There's a lot of stuff you can't do today.
Like Blazing Saddles is Blazing Saddles is a movie that if you take it in the context of when it was made, it's hilarious. But if you were to watch that today and apply today's logic to it, you can't. Not without it being problematic.
And that's a whole nother story and a whole nother topic for a future show if we want to get controversial stuff.
But Ghost Stories, I would argue, it's the same idea. It was made at a time when you could get away with a lot more
nonsense
and shenanigans, and that kind of humor you can't do today.
That was back before everyone started taking everything so literal and personal.
Yeah. Even now with, talking with some of the voice actors that they're not allowed to leave bombs for each other anymore because a few slipped through the cracks and were put out on DVD. And I'm wondering if some of it is that or if some of it is Sony now owns us, we need to stop goofing off as much.
Well, that sucks.
I wouldn't be surprised if if the answer is D,
everything.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Because with the smaller independent companies, you don't have the budget, but you can get away with a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
With Sony, you get the big budget and a lot more
restriction.
I was going to go with a lot more, a lot more tech, a lot more production value, bigger budget, bigger everything. But there's also a limit to what you can and can't do.
Basically, it brings into the thing like any corporation. You want to go by standards and you don't have as much creative freedom, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Perfect example. My company right now, they changed out our COO and we've all felt the shift.
Yep.
Because the lady we had was from a franchise and knew how to run it as a franchise. This guy's from corporate and he's running it more like corporate. So it's just a change.
Mario's jumping in here. It's not Sony per se. It's another factor. And she's probably right. I mean, we're using Sony as kind of the big name example that everybody knows, but it probably is other factors as well.
Yeah, it's not so much that Big Brother says I can't. It's more of, okay, well, so people know the brand Sony, know that they own Funimation, Crunchyroll.
And then there's a standard that everything has to live up to, where with the smaller indie companies, we have to put out a good product, but there's not the same industry standards per se.
And I know, Mario, you are more in the know than we are on a lot of that stuff. because you are just an awesome person, and we do always appreciate your input when we get on touchy subjects like that. I mean, even looking now at look back at some of the blooper reels that have been released on YouTube. You look at the Kobayashi's Dragon Maid blooper reel from season 1. I don't know if they could have released some of those bloopers this year, and that's a newer series in Ghost Stories.
Yep.
And at the same point in time, I am gonna miss hearing some of those, bombs that they leave for each other. Because we over the past 8 years, we've heard some buttes, and everything from the bomb that Tatum left for Todd Habercorn in Hitalia, to finding out that Brittany Karbowski, when there's a nice romantic kissing scene, likes to leave a fart noise for whoever's recording after her. And it's funny to think, you think to like a romantic anime, think Tonikawa, how wholesome that is.
Oh, don't go ruining Tonikawa for me.
Imagine them leaning in for their first real kiss, and as a voice actor, you're getting ready to get to this nice sensual, touching moment, and all you hear is I hear, thinking about that with some of the romance animes that I have seen, I kind of snicker. I'm like, I wonder if Brittany did it in this one. Was she even a part of this show, or did they just input that somewhere? And I don't remember what voice actor it was. I don't remember if they told the story on the show or if it was in a panel. But one of them was in a recording session and burped. The audio engineer, being a smart aleck and wanting to get in on the fun, instead of the 3 beeps like Funimation uses, recorded the burp and instead had the 3 burps. And he was supposed to start talking on where the 4th burp would have been. I heard that story. I almost wet myself. I don't remember the voice actor's name. But I was laughing so hard at that because it's like I could see us pulling shenanigans like that on each other. Especially Darren. He's a troublemaker.
Bring it on.
With all those Zenovia figures.
And then I would just call you both children.
Okay. But technically,
technically you are the child there.
I was about to say, technically, in the eyes of society, I am the child. I'm 26, but I look like I could be in college right now.
I almost look like I can be in college right now.
The difference is you are in college right now. You just kind of work there.
Yeah, I worked there.
Like I said, if my house, if I was,
I think that's in regards to the burp.
Yep.
But I'll tell you right now, if I was in college, my house would be the party house because of my back deck. And I think you've seen my back deck, Doug, when I gave you that little tour.
When I was in college and I moved out of my mom's house, my apartment was the party place because I was the only one that either A, didn't live in dorms, or B, didn't live with mom and dad.
And we still got to figure out when to plan that road trip of crashing Darren's place.
Yes, and please surprise the heck out of me. Don't even let me know you're coming.
Well, I need an address.
Doug
Don't
has
give it on the air.
About to say, Doug has it.
I need you to send it to me again. It got lost in our chats because I have something that I need to mail you.
Oh, Lord.
And it's something I picked up for you from Puchicon.
Oh, my.
I think you will enjoy it.
I hope.
Oh,
yeah, I forgot. If Angela comes down here, she can just hang out with a friend.
Yep. But actually,
The wheels are turning.
no, something more for Mario than for you guys, because
Oh
I know
my.
you guys don't care. But no, in one of my anime-based Discord servers, a question of the day was comparing Attack on Titan because before they swapped studios, and it was a compare basically which studio's animation and art style was better. And the general consensus is if you like Attack on Titan, you're invested regardless.
One other thing from Anime Boston that I want to touch on, I was not a part of it. I didn't get to see it. I know our friend Rob was huge about it. The Holo Live had 4 girls that were a part of Anime Boston this year. It was the first time that Anime Boston worked with VTubers. And I know VTubers is a continuing to grow phenomenon amongst the anime community and the video streaming community as a whole. Now I know, Angela, VTubing is not really your thing, but what was your opinion on them reaching out and actually getting in some well-known VTubers to be a part of the con this year?
Honestly, good on Anime Boston for recognizing that's an ever-growing trend and keeping it relevant. Not necessarily my thing, but I know a lot of people who are big into that, who probably were, some of them probably were there. But I think we are only going to see more of it.
And I think it's an interesting perspective for YouTubers, VTubers, to be starting to be recognized by conventions, whether it be a small convention or even like Anime Boston or bigger. Obviously, the trend is continuing to grow. Our friend Rob showed us that he does have a VTuber model in the works. He is going to be starting that up some point this year.
What I think is interesting, and this gets into the bit I touched on earlier about the overlap in the genres. There was a VTuber panel at PAX, which most people were just like, looking at the schedule for PAX East. A lot of people were like, why? But why? But then they apparently filled the room because it was done by Mink the Satyr and a couple of others, and it was basically a how to get into VTubing panel.
Which I think they had one of those at Anime Boston too, how to get into VTubing.
I don't doubt it. But
I do know that it's expensive.
For Anime Boston, it made a hell of a lot more. It fit in a hell of a lot more. It's to be expected at anime conventions at this point.
Yeah.
As opposed to a far more gaming-centric convention where it's like more of a interesting.
But I was planning on only about an hour tonight. We've gone
90 minutes.
90 minutes, and that's an interesting picture, Darren. Darren sent me a picture of a cosplayer from Anime-Zing that was dressed as an Eevee with a ton of stuffed plushie Eevees and evolutions.
Well, there's 7 evolutions, and you have 6 on the floor, and then you got 5 Eevee. You got a Eevee with a pumpkin on its head. You got Glaceon, and then you got the cosplayer.
Yeah, which I don't know if you can see it or not on the...
But no Flareon, which is just sad.
And there was somebody cosplaying at Anime Boston that had a prop from Full Metal Alchemist of the dog girl with the circle set up underneath of it. Unfortunately, I only saw it in quick passing while on the way to a panel. I think it was a press panel, so I was in a hurry and didn't have a chance to stop and get a photo. But I knew they were going to be there, and seeing it, they got a lot of mixed reactions.
Of course. We
Just-
have
Prop?
one.
Nope. Nope.
The prop was really well done from what I could see on the quick pass by. But the subject matter,
Nope.
it's like that meme. I want to be a dog when I grow up. Why wait?
I-
Oh, Lord.
That's just that was a bit much for me.
Yeah. I will say that they did, Anime Boston, a lot of the conventions get sponsors by, like this one, sponsored by Sentai Filmworks. I went with the Review Starlight lanyard because it's at least a show that had started. They didn't have much to choose from. I did then run into a cosplayer who I mistook as somebody that was cosplaying from Review Starlight. Apparently, it was a series that inspired Review Starlight. It was a lot older. I was like, whoops. And they made that themselves. Her mother made it. I think her mom said it took her like 2 years to make it because they're trying to get it done for 2020 Anime Boston, and obviously not having one until this year. But all in all, I was happy to be back to Anime Boston. I was happy to be able to share a lot of new experiences, especially, Angela, that you were able to come up. I wish, Darren, you could have been a part of it as well. I know you like SAO Aliciaization, so if you could have seen Asuka perform that live, you would have been blown away.
I believe it. I will have to get up there one year. Hopefully, it returns to its normal weekend next year and doesn't conflict with Anime-Zing or.
Next year it's on Easter.
Next year is Easter. I think it's April 7 through 9.
I don't remember the dates. I remember having looked it up and went, well, it's back to Easter.
I will keep that in mind because I don't know if I'm going to have vacation next year or not because I may not be there anymore. We shall see.
Yeah, April 7th, 8th, and 9th for Anime Boston 2023. So,
by the way, really quickly, did you see a whole lot of cosplays from any of the current airing shows? Because I'm seeing a lot of your cosplays from Anime-Zing.
We did see a good amount of Spy X Family.
yep.
I noticed a lot from, I noticed a good amount from the ongoings, like My Hero Academia.
I know I've seen a lot of Demon Slayer. I've seen there was a lot of Genshin Impact this year.
Genshin. In years past, it was League of Legends. Nowadays, it's Genshin.
I am going to share this picture. This was probably my favorite Spy Family cosplay that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
She made the car herself. She made the outfit herself. Did everything in 2 weeks.
Oh wow!
Fuck wow!
And she walked around Anime Boston with that. That was part of the Saturday night photos. It was still like, I was very impressed. That was probably my favorite cosplay of the weekend. Granted, I want to show off your friend. I think I went the wrong way.
Emily.
Emily,
yep.
Who had like a phenomenal Mega Man cosplay.
Explosion.
Yep.
You know, there was quite a few Soul Eater cosplays this year. I was thoroughly shocked. That's something else I've seen quite a bit of.
I was surprised by how much Demon Slayer I saw.
Was there more Demon Slayer or My Hero this year for y'all?
Oh, God.
What I noticed was My Hero, but I also was running around not in cosplay, so...
I saw a lot of My Hero. There was a lot of Nezuko's. I did see a lot of Nezuko's. I did see a lot of My Hero, Ochako. There was a really good one of Josh Greeley's character, the one that has the shadow there, the bird one. I don't know all.
Oh
the
yeah,
names.
the bird. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I did see
He
that.
he had the shadow with him, and the eyes lit up in the shadow. It was really, really well done.
Oh wow.
Um,
There was also a really well done Dobby.
saw a couple of Fat Gums, which you normally don't see people cosplay Fat Gum.
I saw one or two comment about cosplaying as him, if I recall correctly. Let's see.
I will say the cosplay that surprised me the most, after talking for like 3 months with my wife about, I've seen a lot of the dragons from Dragon Maid, but I've never seen a Kobayashi. I think I counted 4 different Kobayashis that I saw. There could have been more there aside from me, and that doesn't include me as a Kobayashi. But they were everywhere. I was like, holy crap.
Let's see. There's some Kingdom Hearts.
Now I got to figure out what the next cosplay I want to do is.
There's a Marin. Oh yeah, how many Dress Up Darling cosplays did you see?
Not that many.
I saw more than you did, I'm sure.
I saw one couple that did Marin and Garu. And then I saw another Marin, but the other that was when I was finally able to eat Friday night.
We saw Friday morning. I saw a Marin couple where the guy was dressed as high school Marin and his girlfriend was dressed as Marin in the first cosplay. Saw a Marin Gojo later in the day. Leanne saw a different Gojo and Marin combination than the one that I had seen.
I saw the couple where they were both in school uniform.
I think that's the one that I had seen. She had seen the one where he was in his like shop outfit, like when he's home working on the dolls.
Yeah.
There was an artist Sally who was dressed as Marin. She was cosplaying behind her table. I got a photo of her. I probably saw 4 or 5 more Marins that I didn't get photos of or have a chance to stop and talk to because either A, in an autograph line, B, rushing to a press panel, or C, they were busy either eating or heading somewhere in a hurry. And when you've been going to cons enough and have talked to enough cosplayers, you kind of get that inkling of they don't have time for a photo, so I'll leave them be. Just proper etiquette and trying to be polite. Saw quite a few 02s still.
Yep.
And ended up running into friends that I didn't even realize it was them until a mutual friend showed up. I was like, oh, hey. It's like, oh, wait, what? And then, of course, at a convention the size of Anime Boston, I feel bad because there was a lot of friends I wanted to see and didn't get a chance to, including our friend Julia.
Ditto. I didn't get to see Julia either.
Leanne did, but I did not. Bryce got to meet her.
Oh, by the way, did y'all get any final attendance figures?
I have not heard anything yet.
Because I know Anime-Zing fell right around 11,000 this year.
I want to say that Anime Boston felt like attendance was down from 2019, but I don't know by how much.
I know that I had seen speculation numbers Saturday, but not final by any stretch, and I don't remember who I was talking to about that.
What does Anime Boston normally run? 20, 30,000?
25 to 30,000.
Okay.
Looking to see if anything was posted. I don't see anything. I also felt bad that I wasn't able to actually go check out the charity auction. I typically try to, but things were just so hectic on Sunday that I wasn't able to get out there. Plus, with parking off-site, it was about, an hour and 45 minutes to get to the car and drive back to the hotel and then leave early to go meet up with my sisters, do some family time with my sister who I hadn't seen in almost a year. And Angela's getting comfy. She's letting her hair down.
I'm starting.
Getting tired?
I am starting to get tired, and be headset with glasses for an extended period of time is starting to hurt.
We should probably call it a night here. We will be back again Sunday night, so in 2 days with our regularly scheduled show. Our guest is going to be comic artist Jay Moores. He's a good friend of mine, a good friend of the show's. We've had game nights at his house with tabletop gaming, card games, things of that nature. He's creating his own board game, I believe. So we're going to talk more with him about that. See how he's been doing. When we were at Vermont Sci-Fi, he was actually, when we were at PucciCon, he was at Saratoga Comic-Con. So we'll find out how things have been going in his world. Be great to reconnect with him. That's going to be followed up by June 12th. We're going to be welcoming Nerd Caliber to the show. June 19th, we have Funimation voice actress Christy Rothrock is going to be joining us, as well as our special guest co-host who won the opportunity from PucciCon. We're going to be joined also by Tanya Firestein, who's going to be our special guest co-host for that one. And then June 26th, we're going to have some live broadcasts that weekend from Rail City Fan Fest, and then guest TBA for that one. And July 3rd is a TBA because we are planning on being at Northeast Comic-Con in Massachusetts. Not sure if we're going to be driving home that night or not, or if we're going to have a live show. We'll keep everybody posted as we figure out our schedule. July is shaping up pretty cool because we have Natalie from the Storyteller Squad on July 10th, and then July 17th, no live show that night. We're going to be in Connecticut, coming back from Kineticon. So we'll be doing some live coverage from Kineticon, some getting interviews and things there. So busy schedule shaping up. We do have more people in the works that we're talking to about having as guests on the show, voice actors, cosplayers, everybody. If you have cosplayers you'd like to see us try to get artists, voice actors, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, facebook.com/Anime-Zing Radio. Shoot us a message there. We would love to hear from you with any guest suggestions you have. If you want to see Angela do more shows midweek of gaming content, be sure to comment as well. I know that she had fun with the one she did a couple weeks ago. And I think you said you had another one in the works that you're thinking about.
Yeah. Ideas, they come and they go, and then I forget. But if there's stuff that you want to see, please reach out, comment.
We are here to do the show for the fans. We thank everybody who tuned in tonight. This originally was only supposed to be like an hour special talking about Anime Boston, and we're going on almost 2 hours. So we're going to... We like to talk.
Yeah, we do.
Especially Darren.
Especially when we don't have regularly scheduled shows and have one in the middle of the week where I'm actually wide awake.
Yeah, Darren actually stayed for the whole was actually awake for the whole show. You know, miracles never cease.
Yep. And then Sundays, Darren is dead.
Yep.
But until Sunday night when we return with our regularly scheduled program and our guest, Jay Moores, I hope everybody has a wonderful night. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you again right here on Anime-Zing Radio on YouTube. Sunday night we'll also be simulcasting on Facebook and Twitch.
See you next time.